Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Nisse Sauerland here ahead of a couple of big weeks in boxing. How are you doing, Nisse?
Doing very well, mate. Doing very well. Yourself?
Yeah, very, very good. And Friday night coming up, Abass Baraou has a big chance up against Sam Eggington with the European title on the line. Cracking fight, real 50-50 fight. I mean, you must be really excited for the return.
Look, nothing gets better in boxing when you've sort of had a kid since his first fight, and now he's going into such a big occasion in a 50-50 fight against a great fighter for one of the best belts around the European title. It's already making the hairs on my neck stand up. I'm very excited for it. I think it's styles wise unbelievably matched. I mean, it's you've got Sam Eggington who's going to be there. He's going to fight and just keep coming, and Abass Baraou, who's just a very, very cute boxer who just great movement, silky style. Yeah, it's got all the ingredients for an absolute blockbuster. We're live on Channel 5. Free to air boxing, baby.
Yeah. I mean, Sam Eggington's a man that when you look at excitement and you look at what the fans want, he probably sits right at the top of the list and has for many years now. The UK fans maybe haven't seen quite as much of Abass. What can we expect from him? And is he the favourite going into that, do you feel? Or
it's a hard one to call because look, Abass has stepped up. He fought against Jack Kulkai, very good ex-former world champion, current mandatory to the world title. And he was very unlucky. It was during COVID. There weren't many opportunities around. We got offered in his ninth fight, I believe. We got offered the final eliminator against Jack Kulkai. We took it. It was a risk. He went the 12 rounds and he should have got the decision. We got outdone in Germany. You have to take those opportunities, and I admired Abass. It was his 9th or 10th fight to go and take that. I remember him saying to me at the end, because it was his first 12 rounder, he's like, I had at least 10-15% more left. But that's why you go from 4 rounds to 6 rounders to 8 rounders to 10 rounders to 12 rounders to learn how to pace yourself, if you like. And I think he's now a lot more mature as a fighter. He's had some good build-up fights. He's fought in the UK a few times now as well. And it's a very, very close matchup to call. I would definitely go over Abass. The odds were bang on the same the whole way through. But I looked recently at, I think on Ladbrokes, and I think Abass has just taken over the betting. So money's going on him now. But I'm not really a betting man, especially on my own guys.
what can we expect coming up from the Wasserman schedule? We know you've got Josh Kelly on a sort of a long-term multi-fight deal now, Harlem Eubank as well. Are we expecting more shows in the diary soon?
Oh yeah, we got loads of action coming. We're one of these promoters that don't like to go off in January. We don't like promoting that much in January. I just think January is everyone's skin. There, it's not the best time to do a show. Everyone's depressed. They've got the hangover from Christmas. So we like to kick up the year in February. However, February 1st, we had Isaac Lowe was going to fight against Lee McGregor. We had that all booked in, and then I think Isaac chose to fight in Saudi on Feb 17th. Was it 17th or 18th? I can't remember. Whatever the Saturday night in February is. Obviously, that got postponed. That knocked Bradis, who we had on the card, to May. So in boxing, it's like you're just one minute you can't even think, and then suddenly you got a bit of clarity and you can just relax and get back to working on and planning your shows. We are really in the middle of big planning sessions at the moment. We'll be announcing our calendar this week, next week. Josh Kelly obviously coming back. He's WBO #1. A lot of domestic fights to make there. Liam Smith, you've got Kell Brook, could even be a name, Conor Ben, all those guys. We want to get in the mix with them. And there's just some really good nights to be had with Josh. I think he's star quality. He's got boxing quality. He's got. He just needs the one career defining fight to take him, beyond. And then Harlem, we're in talks with Lewis Ritson. There's a couple of other names, Robbie Davis Jr. We all also mentioned obviously Conor Ben. I think that's a great fight. Harlem's now at welterweight, so he's moved up. So that kind of rules out a few of the other fights that are around the light welterweight division. Yeah, and then we've obviously got a few other things coming back. On Friday night we got Dan Toward fighting, who for me is one of the most exciting British prospects at the moment. And I don't get excited that often by boxing these days. It really takes something. So I'm really excited for this card on Friday because you got a brilliant 50-50 with Abass and Sam, two great fighters, two warriors. And then you've got Dan Toward, Tom Welland. We've got Sultan Zorbek coming back, the WBA #5 super featherweight. Exciting. He's a future world champ. I can't wait to see him back in the ring as well. So it's Friday night, I can't go on about it enough, to be honest with you. I haven't been excited for a show in quite a while. It's weird because I don't get that excited for the bigger shows. I get excited for these kind of smaller to medium shows, which you can see propel the next stars.
A name you didn't mention there is Chris Eubank Jr. Is there anything in the pipeline for him? Because I know around a month ago he believed that he was being steered towards a world title, and then in his words, that was sort of taken away the following morning. Is there any plans with Chris?
Yeah, of course. Look, see, the thing is of people of Chris's caliber, there's you've got to get the right opponent, the right dance partner. So we're obviously looking, open to all offers. But look, my brother deals a lot with that side of things. He could update you a lot more, but I think there'll be some news soon.
A name that was mentioned there, and you can tell me if it's just hearsay or not, was Canelo Alvarez. Is that a realistic option, do you think, or not?
I mean, I think we do in a heartbeat. It's a great fight. I think it makes sense for Canelo. But there's going to be so many people angling to fight Canelo at the moment. It's their big payday, right? It's retirement money almost. Obviously, McGuire's been mentioned as well, which is a great fight. It's quite a strange situation at the moment with PBC and what's going on there. I don't know. I saw something on boxing scene. I obviously approached PBC, Tom Brown. I put us forward to potentially fight Canelo. There's no harm in that, right? But I don't know what's going on politically there. I have no idea.
And sort of a promotional company that's been mentioned and in many people's eyes is now getting closer is a return to the zone and matchroom for Canelo. Does that open up more options? Does that make that fight easier to make, harder to make?
I think it makes it easier. I think PBC always matched from inside where they could. They're talking about Charlo. I always mix the brothers up. I know there's one very, very good one. But I think because The last Charlo didn't really turn up to the fight, that maybe the next Charlo gets tainted with the same sort of brush, you know. So it's a hard one. But yeah, it does. Look, of course, it makes it easier with MATCHROOM. We get on very well with Eddie and Frank. So, like we do with most promoters.
I want to ask you about Filip Hrgović as well. We know that Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk was postponed and pushed back, and now obviously we've got the new date for that. But if Tyson Fury was to pull out again, Filip Hrgović was the man in line to face Usyk. Is that what his focus is on at the moment?
I mean, I spoke to Filip the other day. Look, you know, he's obviously up for whoever comes next. He always has been, and that's the beauty of Filip.
Is it a bit strange being in limbo when you've sort of half got a fight made, you're ready to fill in for that
I
fight?
think for Filip, again, he's been in limbo for like 2 years, so it doesn't make any difference. I think the main thing for him is activity.
Do you feel like this could be the year for a world title for Filip?
Oh, look, why not? He's got the tools to do it. So why not?
I do want to ask you quickly the final thing. Big fight coming up in around 10 days' time. Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. Have the attitudes changed towards Ngannou's participation at all over the last few months?
So I very rarely take fighters when in the corner. So I'm not a trainer or anything like that. But you know, I can apply a bit of VAS. I can sort of put the head guard on, put the gloves on. So we had young Matty Harris. He came down and they to spar Ngannou down at Stonebridge Boxing Club, which is, you know, just around the corner for me. And Matty handled him pretty well. I know you can't tell that much in sparring. Again, sorry everyone. Oh, it's only sparring, but you can tell enough. I felt like it was at the beginning of Ngannou's camp again. Yes, I know it's the beginning of his camp. I know he's not peaking, but I thought that Fury would absolutely dance rings around him, which normally he would. I don't believe Tyson took it very seriously. That's my honest opinion. I think Ngannou's one tough, big guy. Yeah, he is a man mountain. Like when I slapped him on the back, I was like, oh my God, like muscles just popping. But I love the new AJ, or the new old AJ. I love the savage AJ. I think he's going to punch holes in him personally. And AJ is great for British boxing. So is Fury's, you know, and we need them at the moment, because being quite like frank with you, there is not that much coming through as far as star potential. You know, you obviously got Eubank, 33, I think 34. You got AJ, you got Fury. Ben Whittaker's very exciting. I like Ben Whittaker. Don't know how far he'll go, but he's only in his 4th and 5th fight. So, you know, Josh Kelly, that's who I would tout to sort of take the reins and become a pay-per-view star. So I think boxing might, again, I'm deviating, but I think boxing might switch from just having, you know, just pay-per-view fighters to pay-per-view fights. Which will be important, because you can't just have, you know, one fighter who brings the pay-per-view, like, you know, an AJ. It would be good to have pay-per-view fights where both fighters are in a caliber where they're, you know, borderline, but when they come together, that's a big pay-per-view fight. But where I've lost train of thought, I just go off rambling. I think AJ is going to beat Ngannou quite handily. I love this new version of AJ. I believe Ben Davison has taken him back to basics. And you know, he was a machine. It's just there in him. It's, you know, it's letting those hands go, and I think he's going to do an absolute number on him.
Is there anywhere else to go for Ngannou if he loses that fight? Is there anybody who's going to be able to match the money that he wants to step in a boxing ring?
He is in a great position because well, it's boxing. Let's do it MMA style, baby. Let's get in that cage. Let me tie you up on the floor. Let me lean on you. Let me take the wind out of you. Let me kick you. Let me do this to you. So yeah, let's do it. You know, he could say, oh, well, you know, well, boxing wasn't my thing, but I made a cool, I don't know, 20, 30 mil out of it. Oh, okay. Well, but I'm going back to MMA now and I'm going to fight, who was it? John Jones, I heard, or something. You know, you got PFL throwing money at it. Or go back to UFC. So he's in a great position. Look, he's got every excuse. It's like going into something and say, you know what? Maybe boxing's not for me. I'll just go back to MMA.
Well, Nisse, thank you very much for your time. Best of luck this Friday. I can't wait to watch it.
Josh, thank you, sir. See you soon.